Hi there, how are you doing? I and my buddy Joe English are sending our regards. Today we will be discussing some ACT English section test questions together. So without further ado, let's um, share the PowerPoint. Today's passage that we're going to discuss is entitled Unfulfilled Promises. If we look at the first question 46, if you have ever entered a contest of any sort, dash, you are well aware of the legal requirements. So instead of this dash, we should use a comma because F, blah, 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 comma, blah, blah, blah. That's easy. So J is the best answer. Okay. Moving on to 47. Um, yeah, you're well aware of the requirements, exclusions, and disclaimers that always accompany the contest's entry form. Yeah, that sounds okay. So 47, no change. A is the best answer. Moving on to 40. So again, I remind you, if the no change answer is correct, then go for it. Look at it at first. If it doesn't sound correct, look at the other distractors. Okay, if it is correct, then choose it. Okay, we're moving to 48 now. So here, uh, many laws today regulate a contest sponsor's responsibilities to the entrance, and courts are filled with lawsuits asserting with no with non-compliance on both sides. Should we say that, or should we say lawsuits asserting non-compliance? We don't say asserting with, but we say asserting and then the object directly. So we don't say asserting with. Okay, so G is the best answer. Lawsuits asserting non-compliance on both sides. That's the side of the competitors and the side of people who are organizing the event. Okay, moving to 49. Helga SP to travel, Norwegian immigrant. Yeah, a contest motivated this woman to travel nearly 3,500 miles on foot from the state of Washington to New York City. From the state of Washington to New York City. Wow. So yeah, 3,500 miles on foot. That's okay. Yeah, no change. We don't need to change that. Okay. So A 49A is the best answer. We move on to 50, only to find that the promise uh, 10,000 award was mysteriously absent. So after she finished, Helga won the competition. She finished the competition and won, only to find that the promised 10,000 was absent. So the promise, so it's used here as an adjective. So H is the best answer. Not the promised 10,000, the promised 10,000. In other words, it's used as an adjective here. So H is the best answer. Moving on to 51. Helga had been living on her farm with her husband and 9 children in Spokane, Washington, when she read of a 10,000 prize being offered. So no change here. That sounds okay. She had been living on her farm. Yeah, okay. Because if we say she had lived, that's something that has um, happened and finished in the past, has nothing to do with uh, the present. Okay, has been living. This is uh, if something is near or close to the present time, but had been living because this woman lived before, and they said that her living in that city took some time before she read this announcement for the competition and decided to join. All right, yeah, to get the money if she wins to help her family and so on. Okay, So 51A is the best answer. 52, Helga decided that walking across the country in a bicycle skirt for that kind of money was a small price to pay for a greater rewarding, or for greatly rewarding, or for a great reward. So we should say for a great reward, that is 10,000 bucks at the time. Back in the day was really uh, big money. Okay, so H, 52H is the best answer. All right, so moving on to 53, we have a prompt here, so we should read it well. Which of the following sequence of sentences makes this paragraph most logical? So this kind of question, you should leave it at the end because it will take a little bit more time to read the sentences and see what is the best order of the sentences. Because on the ACT you're under the gun of time, then use your time wisely. And if you have a question that requires more time, leave it till the end and then come back to it. But you need to answer all the questions. Don't leave any question unanswered. So Helga had been living, blah, blah, blah. And then number two, because the SB farm was facing foreclosure, Helga decided that walking across the country is, but for the big reward. So she did that to save her farm. At the time, this style of skirt was considered to be inappropriate because it revealed the female ankle. Yeah, so one of the conditions was that she had to wear a skirt while bicycling and so on. So if we read, we will discover that the best um, uh, answer is D. So we should start with sentence one, then four, then three, then two. That will make more sense. After sentence one, the only requirement from all accounts was that she wear a modern, new, fangled bicycle skirt as she traveled. And then go to number three, where he says, at the time, this style of skirt was considered to be inappropriate, and so on. And then the last sentence is true. Reaching the answer is not the problem, but it will take time. So what I'm saying now is such questions, leave it to the end because it will take more time than usual, more than the other questions. Moving on to 54, H. um, Well, Clara had set off on their long journey. So in May of 1896, Helga and her 18-year-old daughter Clara had set off on their journey, or set off on her journey. Had set off is not the best answer here, but we say set off in the past. And also have set off is not the best answer. So my eyes caught this H because it's the shortest and because it is repeated in all the four distractors. And yes, it is the best answer, right? It's kind of automatically you go for the short answer, but make sure that it is correct, okay? Sometimes the short answer is not the best. All right, so let's now move to 55, reading from 55. Helga carried a revolver and a spray gun containing red pepper for protection. Presumably, Helga and Clara found her daughter food and shelter along the way. Okay. For protection, Helga carried a revolver as well as a red pepper containing spray gun. Or Helga for protection, she carried. Carried by Helga, blah, blah, blah. I think no change. Helga carried a revolver and a spray gun containing a pepper for protection. Because they were going across the country on bicycle, and there are two ladies, so they carried this gun or revolver for personal safety. So 55A is the best answer. How about 56? Okay, read it from the beginning. The contest sponsors, however, were to be found nowhere. Where to be found nowhere, no change, or where nowhere when found, or to be found nowhere, where nowhere to be found. They were nowhere to be found. That's what they say. Were nowhere to be found, meaning nobody could find them anywhere. So J is the best answer. They were nowhere to be found. How about 57? The story of bravery and persistence had therefore been kept a secret for nearly a century. Okay, all right, so 57, should we say that, no change? Yeah, had therefore been kept a secret or had been kept a secret for nearly a century, all right, or had been actually kept a secret, had in fact been. So there is no need to write things like actually or in fact or anything like that. We just say had been kept a secret. Again, this is the shortest answer, and there is no need for therefore or in fact or actually and so on. This had been kept a secret, or this story had been kept a secret. Again, shortest is better here, and it is correct. So B is the best answer. All right, so let's move on to 58. If we read 58 from the beginning, Helga had written through the years, leaving only a small scrapbook of newspaper clippings and very few details. Let's read from the beginning again. After Helga's death, her own children burned the hundreds of pages Helga had written through the years, leaving only a small scrapbook. So yeah, in this case, it's like IC and participle. This is a common structure on the ACT and SAT to have an independent clause, then a participle. So F, no change, is the best answer, right? Yeah. Okay, how about 59? Read 59 from the beginning. Yeah, one can only marvel at the boldness and bravery that must have energized Helga SP to make that journey on foot across the country in an effort to save her family farm. Yeah. So, given that all the choices are true, which one would best conclude the sentence with providing the reader with the most specific explanation of Helga's motivation to walk across the country? Yeah, no change. She did that to save her farm. She had to pay some money to save the family farm and where the family lives and make money and so on. So A is the best answer, not just to win the 10,000, but this was the money needed to save the family farm. So this is the specific example here. Okay. Last question. At this point, the writer is considering adding the following sentence. In 1984, Helga's great-great-grandson wrote a story about his ancestor for a history assignment. Should the writer make this addition here? I think no. Yeah, but no why? No, because this story might not focus on Helga's farm, or no, because the information introduces a new topic or subtopic of the F. Yes, we're not talking here about, uh, uh, and we are just focusing on her joining the competition and then winning the competition. And when she was about to claim for the reward, the 10,000, the organizers were nowhere to be found. If we start something that her great great grandson was going to write about her in a history class or whatever. This is a new topic or a new subtopic. It's not closely related to the core of this essay, which is about a woman from Washington State joining a competition and going all the way from Washington to New York in the east, like 3,500 miles, to win the prize to save her family's farm. That would be something else or digression if we say that her great great grandson started writing about his great great grandmother in a history class, right? So J is the best answer here. Okay, good luck for people who are sitting for the April trial of the ACT. My advice to you is to be aware of the time. If you have questions like arranging sentences in a paragraph or stuff that would require more time, leave such questions to the end, but get back to it before the time ends. If you have time, do it. If not, you just have to make a learned guess and choose one of the answers. Thank you, and we will see I see you again in a future video.